Welcome to the Fox and Owl Hoot and Howl Hour. I'm Theo and our co-host David. Today we have a special mystery edition and look at an incredible strong session series from David on a very special topic.
Emergency was the requirement for an evaluation of the effectiveness of nuclear detonations at high altitude for killing incoming ICBMs. Another must was the ability to detect incoming ICBMs through high-altitude detonation environments for both defensive and offensive applications. Specially designed pods were engineered to be attached to the Thor missile and deployed to pre-calculated positions from the burst. Many rocket payloads were prepared for firing into and around the weapon detonation area to obtain data on the fundamental physics of the burst phenomenon.
As has been the case in this format, David has yet to get any feedback on the target. So let's get rolling, David. I will start with the screen share.
Yeah, okay, landed structure, ideogram, angled, metallic, I think electric, is that what I got in my AOL? AOL running. Okay, so I'm getting a sense of movement kind of early on. Blue, salty, dusty, getting a sense of arid land, warm, rocky, crumbly environment, step dimension. I got an AI. I get the sense of subservience. That was my AI. So I open up with this first sketch. Soft and macerated, I think it is. S4 is my stage 4. Okay, so I got AOL, L-break, I think, what is that, juvenile or something? Okay, EI, morbid curiosity. I don't know what that's about.
Very, very early in
Which is
emotional
strange.
impact here.
Yeah. Yeah, very early, which is very rare, kind of. But okay, so this industrial kind of feel, dry, explosive, dynamic. So this kind of the structure, I feel like, is kind of coming into focus. Yeah, I'm getting it. Like I can get a sense, like I think I did this a couple of weeks ago, but like I think a planetary body, it gets kind of motion heading towards a planetary body. But look at some of these AOLs are really weird. Like global terrorism, AOL break, trespass. Okay.
What you had for a feeling from the structure here?
That one there. It's almost like I get, if I remember correctly, I think this, like I almost like it was like a sojourn. Like I had this kind of like a trip from one planetary body to another type of thing.
Okay.
That's kind of what I got a sense.
So you had a feeling that this is planetary, so feeling that earthly, or in which direction it went?
Yeah, I felt like there's some kind of relation here to Earth and maybe another planetary body or something. But what it felt like is I had these objects or something coming from one planetary body down to like Earth. Is what it felt like.
Okay, let's move on. Then you came into stage 4.
Yeah. Okay, so I had like this idea of like mechanisms and stuff, mechanized equipment, mechanical, AOL break cerebro. That's a weird AOL. Okay, mechanized weaponry, titanium alloys, like a cerebral centrifuge. I kept getting, and because it became in as Hubble telescope, I kind of had to put it in tangible. So I don't know what the relevance is to that, but endothermic reaction, sense of criminal behavior, systematic. Like I did have a lot of this dynamic action happening at the target. Sulfuric, What is it? Earthbound frequency was my AOL signal.
Yeah.
I get the sense of an informed decision, decisive. There was a time, I don't know if it's here yet, but there was a time in this session where I felt like this is forbidden information. Like whatever this is about. But vibratory resonant frequency absorption, tetrahedron. I don't know what that's about. Okay, I get the sense of escape, trajectory, impression of informal decision making.
It was.
High desert area. Yeah. Highly corrosive. Sense of seismic activity, mobilization.
Yeah, that's all.
Frequent. I think I had like suborbital. I kept getting I mean, I kept getting a sense of like suborbital mobilization activity. Okay, a clandestine operation, like a breach in contract. That's what I have in my AOL.
Makes sense.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I got to say, okay, the continental divide. I put that on my tangibles. A sense of an energy surge, sense of resilience from someone here. Someone's resilient. This idea of justice. So I feel like maybe I was bouncing around in time because I was getting all this other stuff too. But something feels judicial about this. Orbital, observable, Dyson sphere. I kept getting a sense of a Dyson sphere. A hole rupture. I get the sense of a catastrophic failure in space. Suborbital. Again, I keep getting this idea of suborbital.
I can say that is correct.
Plot. I got a plot in my intangibles.
Okay, interesting sketching.
Yeah, like some of this shit's so sciencey, like Dyson sphere and.
Maybe I search later to this, what part it could be from that target.
I don't know.
You've got some thoughts to that?
Weird sketch. It's one of those where I just have like. Well, I mean, I get a sense of like, you know, I see those wavy lines. It reminds me of some kind of penetration or something, some kind of dynamic action happening.
Dynamic actions, yeah.
It looks like it's near a rocky area. I mean, I look at that, it reminds me of like, you know, mountainous area or something, but I don't know. So now I got this really fancy, strange object over Earth, I guess, and I was trying to like I get the sense that this thing is like pulverizing the Earth. I mean, it just felt like that. And I had like an AOL like tattooing. But I felt like there was some kind of dynamic action from this structure. I don't know, from space, I guess, suborbit. And I kept getting a sense it was like, you'll see later on in the sketches where it's like it's hitting multiple spots.
For now, it's correct what you're drawing here. It describes the scene and the general thing really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange. It's hard. I mean, to me, it's almost like this massive object above Earth. Okay. Yeah, and so again, like, okay, so desolate region. So here's where like the explosive actionary stuff. Something feels occupied. I get a sense of an endothermic resonance. Was that propagation? Propagation, distillation, AOL, like a sonic boom. Now this is like, I don't know what this cannibalistic stuff is about.
I can say it made
surgical
boom
strike.
for sure.
Well, the sonic boom. Yeah,
it makes
okay.
boom.
Yeah, and I don't know what some of this other stuff is, but okay. Global network by design. I feel what is happening here is warranted, which is
Interesting
strange.
that you had an AOL here from Spy Balloon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a rounded object in space. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just kind of that's what was happening around the time. You know, so I don't know, if it has something to do with that or not. But I get a sense of identifiable seismology, like a seismologist, a pulverization, like scorching the earth. And again, I get this weird stuff. What do I have there? Morphic resonance frequency? Is that what I have?
Morphic resonance frequency.
Morphic resonance frequency. Yeah, superfluous.
This was your first session to it?
End of session, because that was my first one.
You
yeah,
made
and I ran it
second.
through one more time.
The first one you did one day before, I guess. This was on 21 February 23.
Yeah, a lot of ideograms in this one. Structure, land, but I think I had stage 2s like coming down the pipe, so I just started moving.
Deep down white.
Blue, orange, you know, colors. Yeah. Chalky taste, windy, warm, hilly, stony, wide. Yeah, this was a weird AOL break groan. Groan. Round, black, deep, sandy, dense, rigid, just some basic stage 2 textures, dimensionals. I feel a sense of immensity here. That was my aesthetic impression of the target. AOL break rubber band ball. So, but I'm getting these spherical, rounded objects right out of the gate here again. Okay, so now it looks like I'm back above a planetary body or something. Like a birthright AOL break. That's interesting.
Suborbital.
Yeah, I mean, that to me, suborbital. Yeah. So, yeah, and then this is like, it's almost like this guy looking out a window, just watching what's going on. Like, that's kind of like my vibe out of that.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm
pretty sure about that. It's not in the structure what is moving around the Earth there. It is more Earth-based, where they're watching what happened.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know, just like a guy sitting at controls, you know, type of thing. And here we have it again.
That's an impressive sketch.
Yeah, and I don't know, you know, it's, you know, looking at it does really remind me of the balloons. I hope that's not what it is, but it wouldn't make any sense. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know, but you can see this motion, this dynamic action happening between the object and the ground. You know, I'm getting that sense of something, some kind of dynamic action happening there. I mean, you see the little arrows like spinning.
Movement in the atmosphere. Optimal position.
Yeah, and again, actually looking at the sketch, that actually makes a lot more sense. You know, it's like you can see this guy's like relating to something in the distance, and then there's this other object, and that's actually, that almost looks like a planetary body, and then the object to me. But
and several people here who are observing something.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like I was, you know, it looks like there's a couple. I wanted to kind of put another body or two in the back. this sketch was like, I just felt like this guy just like stepped out of something and just is like looking around or something. You know, just like that's kind of like what I got out of it. I was like, he just stepped out of something and he's kind of looking around the environment or something. I don't. But again, you see this like round. I don't know what that's equating to. Maybe another planetary body in the distance. But
Could be. Maybe the possibility is there that it was observed from the moon or somewhere else. We cannot rule it out to times like this.
I mean, that's what it. Yeah, I mean that's what it felt like. It felt like this object came from another planetary body and it's having some kind of action towards the ground, the Earth there. Yeah, so this is just, I'm trying to get another take on this structure or something. And I think that's just kind of another angle to it. So yeah, blue and orange, just get this colorful stuff, this dynamic action. Superflow.
Seismic activity.
Again, like, I don't know. Yeah, I kept getting that. You know, I don't know what the relation is, but like you see, I'm frustrated trying to work it out. My AI frustrated. Like a solar system in the Earth. You get a sense of a disruptive influence. A sense this object is moving to multiple areas, pulverizing the ground below. You're pretty quiet.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the session, and I'm looking forward that I can open the talk for you, give you the feedback.
Okay, energized. Like punching a hole in the Earth. AOL space drilling. I get the sense this moves up and down. Yeah, I get the sense something about this target has a feel of forbidden. So there it is again. It's like I just got the sense like this is forbidden information.
You've got
like I should not be remote viewing this.
Okay, I wanted to ask in what relation you think for who is what forbidden. So in which context this stands for you?
Yeah, I mean that would be my gut instinct. This is what my intuition tells me. It's like this is forbidden information. Like maybe not many people know about this type of thing, or it's almost like it's like my internal sense is telling me like this is forbidden information that you're remote viewing right now.
No, not really.
It's kind of my sense of it.
I don't think so. Maybe this is the reason why I've got a white track since 14 days in front of my window. We will see.
Again, high desert area. I get a sense of deserted, high desert area, a sense of embedded. And then you've got like, it's almost like this machine wreckage or something. You know, it's like,
this looks like leakage,
it is. This, you know, this liquid's leaking out of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It looks like a destruction scene. Maybe it's a macro shot or something. I don't know, really. But we can go over it again when you've got your feedback.
Yeah. So orbital vibratory resonance. That kind of stuff starts coming in. It keeps coming in. You know, it's very sciencey kind of a sense of the conditions. Okay, I keep getting a sense of, stable conditions here. A sense of stability. Mechanized. I have a sundial on my AOL. Okay, so I get the impression that timing plays a big part in this event.
That isn't it.
AOL like Twilight connected.
Really interesting spot because without to spoil it too much, some scientific people are pretty sure about that timing is one of the most important things to get this event. Not confirmed.
Interesting.
In the official science community.
Yeah, I felt like the timing was involved to what's happening here. And so again, I got this penetration, like tattooing the planet, like AOL. Planetary subservience. Against a sense of observation, witnessing. So this is asking me. Now I'm asking myself, because I've kind of been floating around in the matrix for a little bit. What's the most noteworthy about this target? And I get just the destructive nature.
100% correct. This what is now coming. I relate this more to the area where everything happened, and in the most far away to maybe an event what happened thousands of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got here Hopi people, old cultures like a container, spiritualist.
So I'm getting the sense of encoding. So again, like it feels really, kind of outside of my realm. Planetary bodies, cosmic web. Now it's like I got a sense of orbital instruction, titanium dice. Okay, so I get a sense like all these orbs are rising up, like out of the ground or something. They're rising up. It feels like out of something. AOL, like pocket universes, holographic influence, destructive capabilities. I get the impression this event feels global or planetary wide.
Mm-hmm. No, guys, these are not the balloons what popped up over the US and the world. No, it's not.
Okay, I'm getting a sense of a hydrothermic pipeline, an accelerant, an endothermic reaction plume.
Yeah, that's correct. I translated it in my own language in German now, what you wrote above.
Yeah, and now this is like, I don't know, like some kind of energetic thing is happening here. I don't know. I look at that, I just see some kind of energetic something that's going on there.
What brought you to the idea to make an interim summary here?
Just it's protocol, it's you're supposed to, before you go on, you should do an interim summary, then stage 5, then stage 6. If you do we could do stage 5 at any time. But okay, so the event, at least one planetary body in a structure, planet surface. The structure is emanating some kind of pulsing energy into the surface. A lot of moving, shaking, and seismic activity associated with this. Okay, I got this sense of sterilization, monolithic, semi-buried, organized. Mosaic. I get the impression of a cycle. And I feel like this is being filmed, or there's filming associated with this, or something.
It was filmed.
Okay, I get the sense this involves 2 planetary bodies, like Earth and somewhere else. This idea of an exchange. And I got all this fucking mining shit, but like a ancestral ties or something, a domed architecture,
This
sense of enforcement.
on the most far away, this interesting data. If you have here handbook of gods, Vedic tradition, ancestral, old. So it's an
Yeah. It's like this ties. This has like ancient ties, is what it feels
it
like.
looks like, and
Whatever this
is
is.
one more indice to that this happened really in the past already. So interesting data.
Yeah, I had all these periods. I was going. Yeah. I was going through like these time periods in my mind. Yeah, because I had a hard time like getting a handle on the time frame of this. It was like, I was getting multiple kind of. It's like I was skipping around in time, getting a sense of. But I don't know. So okay, so I get a sense of eminent domain, catastrophic failure, a design flaw. Like an explosion in space. I get a sense of an incentive, like melting, hollow tubes, systematic. Sense of I can't. I don't know what that is. Petrodite. I don't know what that is. Captivity. A sense of an existential threat. This is engineered. I get a sense of space weaponry and thermobaric.
All correct.
That's not a word I use all that often. I mean, I don't use thermobaric very often. Okay, so tangibles and altimeter. This feels like territorial. There's a territorial nature to somebody here. A secluded, a majestic. I guess sense like stenography was going on, calligraphy, capitalistic, sense of a capitalistic nature, and that's where I ended it.
You wrote a session to it, I guess. Jumping forward here.
Summary? Yeah. Target is event involving a structure and what feels to be a relation to two planetary bodies. I get the impression of multiple objects on land and what feels to be a massive structure or structures permeating the planetary surface. I get the impression of melting, pulsing dynamic. I feel this is a global endeavor. I have the sense of mechanized equipment, mechanical weaponry, titanium alloy, and centrifuge. Okay. Criminal behavior, an endothermic reaction, an informed decision, absorption, and a vibratory resonant frequency. I get the impression of a tetrahedron and a Dyson sphere. I get the sense of trajectory, the high desert area, informal decision making, and highly corrosive materials. I get the impression of indigenous people, mobilization, and seismic activity. I have a sense of orbital, suborbital, and a catastrophic failure in space. I have a feeling of a desolate region, a surgical strike, an egregious act. What is happening here feels warranted to someone. Endomorphic and morphic resonant frequency comes. Yeah, second session. This feeling of suborbital, a disruptive influence here. I get a forbidden element to this target, this feeling of stable conditions or stability. Timing here is important, destructive nature, and a sense of observation. I get a sense of dogma about all this. A respected spiritualist person or people. The sense of a cosmic web, orbital what is it? Oh, orbital intrusion, is it? Or institution? This feels global. I get the sense of a hydrothermic pipeline, an accelerant, and an endothermic reaction plume. A sense of mosaic, Aborigine and Hopi people. This is where I'm saying I'm going to the past again. Okay, I get the sense of a cycle, a gestation period, and again, two planetary bodies. I get the impression of exchange, mining, mineral rights, Vedic tradition, ancestral, old and domed architecture. I get the sense of the dynastic period, a sense of charged and enforcement. Eminent domain, a design flaw, an incentive, hollow tube, systematic, particulates, feels episodic. A sense of captivity, engineering, space weaponry, and an existential threat. Thermobaric comes to mind. End of session.
Great job, David. Great job. I will give you now the tasking for the people outside. David and I exchanging targets to each other. We task on different targets since nearly 2 years. Sometimes we make back and forth, have a back and forth situation, and this is one of them. I will send you that over here. This was your tasking. You remember? It is your own tasking from long time ago.
Starfish Prime. Then, okay, the viewer will often perceive this. Oh yeah, more specifically, what is the most notable about the actual target? Any aspect of the testing not shared with the public, if there are any. Tom DeLonge mentions this event as it pertains to disclosure. The objective is to understand why he mentions this event in a interview. Okay. So this revolves around Starfish Prime then. Okay.
Yep.
That kind of makes sense.
We talked a lot about this target. When you gave it to me, I don't know why, but the session is nowhere on my records anymore on my laptop or on records. My session went away in the air, but that's not a problem. And you can see here out of my perspective, when I saw you sent me that session, I thought, wow, hit. The nuke, it was a thermonuclear, and they let it explode at 400 kilometers high. It was recorded from Earth. So you had some special thoughts to the last time when we talked about it, that maybe there's more behind than only to try to get an EMP event. So what Tom DeLonge said to all the stuff, he gave more than only a hint?
Well, I mean, that was a while ago. From what I remember, he had made mention, like, why are we, like, did anybody ever question, like, why we sent so many of them, like so many nukes into space? Like, it was almost like he was inferring there was multiple attempts at that. But to me, as the viewer, it was almost like a massive space drill, came from like another planet locally or something, and can't come in here to take something or something like that. And it's weird, some of the traits of what I picked up on was, like hermaphroditic or whatever, and what else was it? Like cannibalistic, just strange. But I got a sense like this thing blew up. I didn't know how. I don't know if it was a systems failure or whatever. But my sense would be that they blew this thing up. I mean, if you look at it at face value for what what your tasking is. But what those orbs are about, I have no idea. That's what's strange to me. Like all those orbs coming into the ground, it's almost like this thing was impregnating the Earth with something. I don't know. I'm just saying that, from what I remember, he inferred that there was kind of, there's a reasoning behind all this, atomic testing in space. So I kept getting, I got a sense like there's a subspace explosion of this device. So, it's interesting to think that, going back to that event, I mean, that was like a multi-country effort. I mean, it was just like the United States. It was like there was several players in that event. All right, guys, thanks for joining us this edition of the Fox and Owl Hoot and Howl Hour, the Mystery Machine edition, and we'll catch you next time.
See you soon.
Ooh.